feeling a little overwhelmed by the blisters. So, I mean, it's gonna be fine. Brady knows fiberglass, like that's not the issue. It's just the getting them dry because they're still oozing. They're not just like sort of wet, no, they're like oozing still, some of them at least. This one's still leaking, which means we still need to grind some more. Same over here. That. There.
I'm Carly, and this is Brady. In early 2020, we sold our house and most of our possessions and took our first big leap into living our vagabond dreams. We recently hiked 800 miles of the Appalachian Trail, and now we are purchasing a sailboat to start sailing around the world, all while capturing a creative journal of the journey. We hope to inspire you to live your own dreams. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.
I think I'm all finished grinding out blisters. That one was massive, and I still don't think I got it all. The one with the black spot, I went too deep and hit metal. So yeah. There it is. Blisters. Blisters that have been ground out. Now it's time for it to dry.
Tell us what you're doing.
Cutting a bunch of circles of fiberglass.
I'm seeing two different types of fiberglass there. Tell us about that.
One is called chopped strand mat, and it looks like this.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of chopped up fibers that are randomly arranged so that you get strength in all directions. And then this is called woven. And it is woven. It's bidirectional strength. And you alternate layers between woven and chopped strand mat. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a bunch of circles of each kind in various sizes.
Sorry, there we go.
Because I need to start with a smaller and get bigger as I fill in the holes.
Cushions that previous owners had in the boat that we're gonna toss work great for kneeling.
Yeah. So I'll start with a smaller piece and then work my way and get bigger with each piece. Just pre-cutting a bunch of glass so that I can do several spots in one go. The woven, the chopped strand mat, they come in sheets like this, and you can order them, you can buy it. Like we went to a local marine hardware store, and I picked up a bag of the fiberglass matting, and I have always used 1.5 ounce, or 1.5 ounces is what we called it, 1.5 ounce chopped strand mat, and then the woven 24 ounces per square yard. That's pretty standard. I just bought a bunch of it because I don't know how much it's actually going to take. And then I just lay the woven on top of the chop strand, and that way I can cut 2 layers at once. It'd be really nice if I could cut more layers at once, but I don't know if my scissors can go through that.
Are they having trouble going through it now?
No, but I don't want it to dull either.
Yeah, before you finish the project.
Yeah.
Okay, will you tell us about the scissors? Those are not normal scissors.
Oh. These are just, I mean, they're from Home Depot.
They're just like extra strength cloth scissors, right?
Yeah, they are heavy fabric, cardboard, leather, plastic, and more. They were like $14
Yeah.
at Home Depot.
Yeah.
So, but they're cutting through this nicely.
That's good.
Just want to figure out a way to do more layers at once. So I'll be here all day cutting if I can't.
If you can't figure something out.
Yeah. I'm about to start my first round of actual glassing, putting glass and resin on the boat. So a week and a half ago or so, I came through and I did all my grinding on all of these blisters. But one of the important steps that a lot of people may miss when doing fiberglass like this, hold on, there's a cart. One of the things that people often miss are coming back and re-roughing up the surface, but just before applying your first layer of glass and resin. People are like, oh well, I've already done it. It's, you know, but it's been a week, and you know, dirt and other types of things can fill in into the micro spots, little crevices and things like that, and it doesn't create as good of a bond. So whenever you are going to do your first layer of glass, make sure to go back through and give it a nice sand, kind of rough it up, expose some of those glass fibers so that your new glass and resin have something to bond to. Another point to make that a lot of people don't necessarily always do is after you have done that, before you apply your first layer of glass. Well, one, you want to wet your glass out separate, but before you apply your wet glass to the exposed fiberglass, is you want to go through and you want to put a layer of just raw resin. So expose grind that, expose some glass fibers, go through with your roller, put a layer of resin down, and then put your first layer of wet glass and start rolling out the air bubbles and things like that. So just something to keep in mind. And I'm gonna go ahead and rough up some of the spots that I'm getting ready to start on right now, and then I will start mixing my resin. Now that I've done all of my prep work for the sanding side, I'm going to go ahead and mix up my resin. We bought the West Systems Epoxy 105 resin and the West Systems 206 slow hardener. The ratio for this is a 5 parts resin to 1 part hardener. So I've got my, somewhere around here, I've got my handy dandy coffee cup from Wawa that has graduated markings on the side, so I can measure out my resin and hardener so that I can get the right proportions and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up and start applying some glass and resin. Carly brought up a good point. I mean, it doesn't hurt after you've done your little roughing up of the glass to just come back through with a cloth and just get any dust particles that might be there out. And before you apply your resin, I mean,
a little bit.
In the shop, we just use a compressed air and just would and blow it off.
Okay.
But I've got a bunch of circles cut and got myself a board that I can wet out my glass on with my cotton roller, and then I also have a fiberglass. I don't know what they're called specifically. I've always heard them called barrel rollers, but maybe that's not the right term.
Try to get
I won't look up.
get it to focus for you. So they're grooved.
Yeah, it's you use that to roll out the glass after it's been applied to get any air bubbles out. So we'll show that here in a second.
Better? You just use some of these, whatever those are.
Cut this out. What?
Does it really say that?
Yeah.
Maybe not the pokey pokey. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Hopefully that's 2 ounces. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I think that's good. So you've got 2 ounces of hardener,
Yep.
and you've got 206 slow hardener.
Yeah.
Okay. Which you already shared. So a little hardener. Okay. And this.
It's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Already doing things. So what's this ratio you used?
It's 5 to 1. I'm gonna get a towel.
Smart. You want to try to keep stuff from touching as much as possible. Yeah?
What?
You want to keep stuff from touching it as much as possible?
You should get it away. Doesn't come off.
It's there permanently. Got it. Okay. So, doing up the area. Okay.
Just get it wet with some resin first before
Okay.
you start.
Okay.
So the first layer that you're going to put down, you want you want to start and end. Start your first layer and end with a chop strand mat every time.
There you go.
So I'm going to grab a few
Pieces of glass.
pieces of glass,
Make a little pile. Okay.
the smaller pieces, and then grab some medium-sized ones. Oh. So, let's see.
Just get a variety to work with.
Yep. And let that go down.
Okay, so you rolled some resin down there earlier.
Yep. And now I'm just gonna
Some mixture, sorry.
throw some
Okay.
glass.
So you're doing a build-up pile before actually attaching anything to the. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to really soak this glass.
Okay.
I'll pick it up. Smush it in there.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna grab my air roller and just kind of work it in there.
Okay. And it does kind of move around.
Yep.
But yeah, you can see bubbles coming out. Maybe it'll focus. See some kind of like frothy. Yeah. So yeah, we ended on a chop.
Yeah, we will be ending on a chop.
Well, that just now was a chop, so you're grabbing a woven
Yep, to go next.
and then chop. And you're just really getting it,
It's just sopping wet.
okay,
Yeah.
with your mixture.
They have actually gone too big.
Okay,
I'm gonna peel
2 pieces off.
a couple layers back.
Okay,
And I'm gonna call that good.
okay, cool.
I'm gonna air roll that out.
Yeah.
Call that good. Yeah.
Now, is it one of those things like you can grab one of your pieces of glass and try to like collect your drips, or just don't worry about them and plan on sanding them down? Okay,
It is.
okay. Just kind of spread it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I am gonna have to come back in and sand
Yeah,
these areas down.
yeah. Because you do want it to be smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to overfill your holes, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't want to overfill.
Okay. So if you're somebody who's going to be working with fiberglass for the first time, what are some things that are going to be super frustrating to just be aware of? So they can maybe combat those.
Overshooting your resin, like doing too much hardener,
Okay.
and your resin going off, like getting tacky and hard before you are finished working with it,
Okay.
can be frustrating.
Okay. Does that mean you've added too much hardener?
You've added too much, yeah.
Okay. Which in the videos of boat fiberglass work we've seen people post on YouTube,
Yeah.
their ratios are really, they've it was like 3-to-1 or 2-to-1.
Yeah. I don't know. There is like a fast hardener that you can buy from West Systems, but they only really recommend that for like cold temperatures.
Okay.
And even like I am even a little more conservative during cold temperatures. Like, you want it to cure, but you don't want your resin getting hard in like 10 minutes. You want to have a nice working time.
Yeah.
This 5-to-1 says I have a working time of 60 minutes, so I'm pretty happy with 60 minutes of working time.
Well, and especially if it's your first time
Yeah.
doing it, you're gonna obviously be slower at it.
Yeah. It is starting to melt my bucket.
Bucket's melting.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah. You can see it getting a little deformed.
See, it's also starting to gel up.
Yeah. I did see that. Gel clump there.
I need to work a whole lot faster.
Okay.
So 2 to 1. 2 is too much.
You did 5 to 1.
5 to 1, sorry.
Yeah, because well, I mean, it's also 83 degrees out here.
That's hot.
On your hands?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I smell that now. I think it's probably from it,
Curing?
yeah. All right, well, he is going to finish what he's got there. Get that on there. I'm gonna give him another bucket. And
Yeah, it's starting to smoke.
okay. So is that 9 to 1 better?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you've done these 4 and you're not smoking.
And I'm not smoking yet, yeah. Yeah, that's a good ratio.
So you've...
I overfilled them, so I'm gonna have a hard time getting it smooth
Yeah,
to the keel.
you're gonna be sanding actual fiberglass.
Yeah. So Kyla was just asking about timing and things like that with the resin, and I prefer activating a small amount of resin and working with that and just remaking resin over and over and over, rather than trying to like shoot a big pot of resin and trying to work real fast and knock a bunch of the stuff out all at one time. Just because I don't want to waste resin by it going off too early on me or anything like that. So, but now that like I've used all my resin, I can stop here, or I can shoot another bucket of resin and keep going. But
It's lunchtime.
So I want a drink.
So it's no worries to leave it where you've got it, because his mixed resin is gone.
Yep.
So the putty is a epoxy. Is it just the epoxy?
Yeah, epoxy. It's just like the regular resin. It's epoxy resin with the hardener.
With the hardener, okay.
But you add in the 404 high density adhesive filler from West Systems, which is
The powder.
yeah. I like to get mine pretty thick, which means I'm using quite a bit of this stuff.
Okay. It's kind of like powdered sugar, but do not eat. Right?
Yeah.
It's very airy. I don't know the right word to use. Or if you've ever bleached your own hair, it's like the bleach that you mix in with the volume. Yeah. Depending on which reference you understand. So this, what happens is you create this putty mixture. So then you can go in and make all of your holes smooth. Which you probably can't really tell, but they're not. It's a boat, and you want it to go fast, as fast as your boat will go. So you want a smooth bottom. So you fill, you can probably tell kind of from the shine from your glass, and then you're sanding, they're not in line with your keel. So adding this putty mixture, so what kind of density are you going for? Stiff peaks?
I want it to be able to hold its shape.
Okay. So stiff peaks. If you've ever watched the baking show. And then eyeballing that.
Yeah.
So is that supposed to be a 5-to-1 still?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, we did forget to talk about when you were doing all of the filling of the glass, what ended up being your prime ratio?
Like a 6-to-1.
Okay. So, because I think you had started in that and it started smoking and you didn't get it all,
Yeah. So adding the hardener ends up.
making it more liquidy.
Yeah.
So then you add more of that. Okay. Because the 9-to-1 was really slow drying.
5-to-1.
I know, but you had switched and had done a 9-to-1, remember, on this side, because the 5-to-1 was really fast
Oh.
with the glass. It was
I don't
smoking.
think it was 9-to-1, but
That's what you said.
okay. Maybe, I don't remember. It's been too long.
So about 6-to-1 ended up being the sweet spot for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good enough.
Oh, is the putty knife how you put it on? Or putty thing? Okay. So you're treating it kind of like mudding.
Like mudding
The
a house.
drywall mudding a house process. The 404 makes it much more sandable.
Actually, the 404 makes it to where you can actually spread it on thick. It's a filler to help the resin hold its shape and not just run down the side of your boat.
Okay.